Alycia Wilson. It is May 17th, 2021. So my book was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, and it was recommended to me by my librarian and my teacher, which I thought that was a very good choice. I loved this book. It is a young adult fiction novel with also the main focus being a mystery, and there's some romance and drama added into it, and it's just overall like a really good book. It was published in May of 2017 and was McManus's debut novel, I believe. And so yeah, so pretty much this story circles around this group of 5 teenagers, and they go to detention, and one person in their detention dies. His name is Simon Keller. And her writing style is kind of writing from the 4 perspectives of the other students. So there's Bronwyn Rojas, and she's like the brains of the group. And that's also one thing that's talked about, is that it's kind of like one of those like teenage stories where there's like the brains and the brawn and the people, which is actually mentioned at the beginning of the story. So yeah, she's the brains, and then there's Nate McCauley, and he's like the bad boy of the group. And then there's Addie Prentice, and she's like the princess or the popular girl. And then there's Cooper Clay, and he's like the bronze, the jock boy. And yeah, so it takes place from, each chapter is split into 2 perspectives, like of each person, and a lot of times she like connects them so it tells the same like event from 2 different people's perspectives, and just like how they're seeing it. So Simon Keller was the author of a sort of gossip website called About That, and that also comes into play within the story because it adds some like extra conflict and some like extra drama. So this book was actually obviously very well acclaimed within the reading community. It spent over 160 weeks on the New York Times bestsellers list, and it received many star reviews from a lot of the big publishing and review companies. So, and it was a very popular choice for people in my class too. So I know a lot of people who have read it. So as a teenager who can sometimes struggle with staying focused on a book and not getting bored, this book definitely will keep you engaged throughout the whole story. I became very well like immersed with all of the characters. There's a lot of like character development plots, and you get to really know the person inside their head, since it's taking place from like multiple first person perspectives. So you just like get to see everyone's perspective on the same incidents, their own personal lives, and things that like are happening in their lives. So you like obviously become very connected with all of the characters. So I think McManus also does a really good job of letting us see behind the scenes, like from the people's perspectives, but also not like at all giving you who the killer is. And it really like keeps you guessing throughout the whole story. And the ending is very not expected. You would not expect the ending. The way it's written is just like very good, because you have to figure out clues and put things together and you kind of figure it out along with the characters. And I think she did a really good job of that. The setting, I feel like the setting wasn't as important, like place-wise. Obviously it takes place in a high school in a like more wealthy town. There are the different settings of like where each character lives and like how that plays into like how they act and their decisions throughout the story, which, yeah, that was described definitely very well. There's also, she adds in things that have to do with like the political climate of what's going on and kind of like where the world is at as far as how do I say this without giving away any spoilers, like just acceptance of certain things, and like how that can come into like how characters act and perceive themselves and how they want to be perceived. And that's like another way that you become connected with the characters, is just like being able to understand like what's going on in the world and what society like thinks about like certain types of people, which is also very good since this is a very public on the news case that was taking place in the story. And then the conflict in this story, there's definitely a lot of it. I feel like to some people, if you don't like a lot of things going on at one time, this book might be a little too much. Since it is coming from 4 different perspectives, there is obviously a lot going on since it's like from 4 different lives, plus you have the big case, just everything that's going on. There's like a lot of different plot points with like romance and breakups and allegations and murder and bullying and harassment and all sorts of things. Then you have stuff going on with people's parents and their family and like connections like that. So to me, obviously, I love having a lot of different things going on because it keeps me very engaged, and it's almost served as like a distraction from like the main point. So then you're not like as focused on like that, like you have so many other things going on that like then it just makes the ending that much better because you just get to see everything that's going on. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I love how it was written from 4 perspectives. That's like one of my favorite types of books because you really get to like see people's points of view and how they look at different situations and how they're feeling about certain things that are going on. So yeah, I love this book and I think you should check it out.